Welcome back to the channel, guys, and we have another little project for the Sandhurst. And today I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We went and bought this top box, back box, I don't know what you call it really. It's a little box that goes on the back of the camper van on the bike rack, and we've bought it cheap, so it needs a bit of tidying up. Now, one of the first things is we were missing one of these, so I've gone into Tinkercad and made one. It's not exactly the same, but I'm thinking of making two, so we'll see what they go like. It fits all right, doesn't it? There you go, clips on all right, so I'm quite pleased with that. But the problem we got is I'm just going to open this up, and hopefully you can see inside. And I'm going to point over there. You can see the cracks, and there's some cracks here, and I think I saw a crack somewhere else as well. Anyway, this is made of ABS plastic. I've done some research, and you can make a thing called ABS slurry. It's quite simple. You need some sheets of ABS. We've got some sheets of ABS. All right. We chop it up into little bits, we put it in a jar, and we soak it in acetone. Then, after 24 hours, it becomes soft enough to paint on, and then we can fill those cracks, and then we'll have it all strengthened on the inside. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clean it all out, so we're not dealing with any dirt, rust, or anything else. I'm just looking around to see if I can see any more cracks in there. Probably. I know I've seen another crack somewhere. There we are. I knew I've seen another crack somewhere. It was up there. Is that a crack? Yeah, I think it is a crack. But we'll sort them all out. We'll do it from the inside. And that will give us a little bit of storage on the back of the van. We paid £120 for that. So it's not a lot of money. And I think they're about £500 normally. So, bit of a saving, and we're just hoping it's going to be a handy thing to put some bits and pieces in the back of the van that we don't want to carry in the van. Anyway, let's go and try and make the slurry first and see how we get on. Right, the first thing we need to do is we need to chop this up into smaller pieces. Now, I tried initially with a pair of scissors, and I was going nowhere with these. They're quite heavy duty scissors, what I normally use for cutting carpet and things. Not going to do it, so I've got these wire cutters. They're a bit old and craggy, but I think they're going to do the job. I've just had a quick attempt and it's worked. So we're going to chop it up into small pieces. Yeah, that's going through quite easily. So we're going to chop it up into small pieces, and I'm really sort of like not exactly sure what I'm doing here, to the point of where I know this will all melt down and I know it will paint on. But how long it's going to take, I'm not really sure. So we'll start today, and we'll get it into small pieces. I think I'm not even sure how much I'm going to need, which is another issue. I bought about £10 worth off Amazon, as a seller on Amazon. I'll put a link below. So I'm just trying to think. That was a piece about that big. Shall we do? I think we'll chop up 4 pieces. Let's see how we get on with that, because we need to know really how much we're going. So that's the size of it. And shall I measure it just so you're totally aware of how much I'm using? Let's get a tape measure, and then at least we got some idea of exactly what we're doing here. So what's that? That's 12 by 6. 4 pieces of 12 by 6. And I think it was 2 mil thick. Yeah, that looks like 2 mil thick. So we'll chop all that up. And I bought some acetone, pure acetone. And I'm not even sure how much to use of that. So I think we'll use probably half a bottle. We'll fill up to about there, I think, and see how we get on. Like I say, this is all a bit of a guesstimate on everything, so we're going to just chop it all up, and I suppose when it's in there we'll just agitate it. I've got jam jar with screw top. Right, I'll just chop all this up and then we'll come back in a minute when I've done it. Right, so there we are. It's all cut up. I've cut up into little squares, well, rectangles, just so it's it'll go in. So let's just put it all in a jar. And I presume we'll just cover it with enough acetone. So yeah, let them lay flat, and then we'll just pour some acetone in. Now the acetone has come with a seal inside, you can see that, so I'm just going to use a craft knife and carefully just go around the edge. Okay. Whenever you're using anything sharp, I don't need to tell you, do I? But I am going to tell you. Be careful, because I can't be responsible if you copy what I'm doing and cut yourself. So now we're just going to pour that in. Remember, don't be breathing in these fumes because they're probably not very good for you at all. So there we are. I'm just going to, let's say, cover it and seal that up. Do that one up and put him on a safe shelf. So don't knock him over. So there we are. You can see it's in there, and you can already see the acetone going a little bit cloudy. So I don't know how long that's going to take. I would presume it's going to take a good 24 hours. So we'll come back to that at a later stage. So we come back to this box, and there's a few things we need to sort out first of all. You can see this got all paint peeling off it and everything. So we're going to take it off, rub it down, respray it. I've removed all the netting. As you can see there, I've removed all the netting, and we're going to give this a very, very good clean out so we know exactly what we're dealing with. And then we can get to repairing it. So the first thing we're going to do is give it a very good clean, and then we'll look into repairing it. Now, one thing we do need to measure is these hose here. Are they the right size for what we're going to be doing? Because there's quite a few hoses that have been drilled, and while we're using this slurry repair, we can probably fill the hose at the same time. So we're going to get that measured as well, so we know exactly what we're dealing with. Okay, so that was 63 centimeters. As I thought, the outer ones are the ones that need doing. So the ones on the inner side, so we've got hole there, hole there, hole there, hole there, and two hoses there. So what we'll do is we'll put tape on the back of them, and we'll fill them at the same time, and hopefully that'll repair it at the same time. Right, so we're about 2 hours later on now. I've cleaned the inside of the box, but what I wanted to show you first of all is, you saw what it was like before, and I think that is completely liquid now. I think we may have to add some more ABS into there. We'll find out in a little while. Maybe it needs to be thicker. But let's come over here. Now, I've cleaned this off. The foam around the edge was all rubbish, so that's had to be removed. I've identified there's a crack there. You can see one over there. The hose there, and there. I've put tape across the back so that they'll, I'm hoping that will fill the little hose there. And you can see a little crack just down there in the corner there, and there's also one there by the key lock. I'm gonna slowly build up the layers, and I'm hoping that this will work. I think the slurry, the ABS slurry, is going to have to be a bit thicker, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to cut up some more and put in there. I will put a very thin layer on tonight, but I think we'll put probably half as much again. So we put 4 sheets in, didn't we? So what I think I might do, I might just put a thin layer on now, because obviously every time we use a paintbrush, I think the paintbrush is going to be useless afterwards because it's going to go hard. I don't think there's any way we're going to be able to clean the paintbrushes, so I've just bought a cheap 10 pack there. So we're going to find out. This really is something I'm learning as I go along, so I'm going to try a very thin coat now. So we go. Oh, it feels quite thick when you actually. Oh, it's not melted as much as I thought it had actually. So we'll just put a little bit in. It stinks as well. So we're just going to dab a little bit. I expect a thin layer might just be good to sink in a bit, just to bond into the crack. And we can build once it's bonded in. So I've decided just to cut up one last sheet. Hopefully you can see that there. And I'm going to just cut up into little squares like I did last time. We'll just add that in. I think that'll make it slightly thicker. And then we'll come back to it. We'll leave it overnight and we'll come back to it tomorrow. And hopefully this is going to be good enough to reinforce the area where it's split. And that'll make this box reusable. I've ordered some new foam sealant as well to go around the edge. And we'll give it a good clean up. Hopefully we have a relatively cheap back box for the van. So we'll just put that all in. Just put the top on again. Just agitate it a little bit. And we'll leave that overnight. This is just the first one. You can see where the crack was. And already you can see it is filling the crack, and the hose, they've backfilled a little bit already. So I'm hoping this is going to be a good fix. We'll see. Anyway, we'll come back tomorrow and we'll carry on and we'll do a bit more, and hopefully within a day, maybe 2 days, it'll be all nicely done and we'll have a really good fix. And this, will help you maybe repair any plastic box that you got that needs strengthening. Roof boxes on cars, back boxes on camper vans, any ABS box really, I suppose. Well, good morning and we're back. We've left it now for over 18 hours and you can see this is looking very, very liquefied now. So hopefully that's going to be good. The brush, that is absolutely solid. So you can see, just by looking at that, there's going to be some difference. So we'll go and have a look at the box and just see where we are at this point in time. So it feels very smooth, actually. Very smooth. I'm quite impressed with that, actually. And that was just a thin bit that went on. You can still feel where the crack was there. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with that. And then we got the hose that we were covering up. There and there. And obviously there's still more to go in. There was the crack up there. Yeah, it feels quite neat and tidy. I'm really quite impressed. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to just stir it up a bit more. I'm going to try and use that brush again and see if it will work. It may be I'm going to have to use another brush and kill another brush, but that's neither here nor there. So we'll get on with that now. And after that, we're going to rub down that little bracket that we had taken out. That was all rusted. Get that resprayed, put some Amorite on it, just to make it look a bit tidy. Let it all dry, and then hopefully after a few layers, tomorrow we'll be putting it all back together. Now the first thing I've noticed, I'm just going to hold this so you can see it. It's still a little bit lumpy. There's a lot of fluid in there, and I'm going to use the fluid, but there's still a lot of lumps, so maybe you're going to keep on agitating. We'll see how we get on. Hopefully it's going to be thick enough. So I don't think this brush is going to be any good though. So we'll get a new brush and we're just going to paint on again in the areas. It's quite thick and gloopy. It's almost like texture of PVA glue. I said to you, it felt really, really smooth as well, so I suppose it settles in. And across into all these little holes as well. And of course this is on the inside, so it's not going to look too bad, you know. If you don't get it right, it's not going to be too terrible. I'm not sure if this will keep after I've done this job, you know, if you need any future jobs doing. We will find out, I suppose. What I thought I'd do as well, while we're going to do a few ABS slurry, I've just poured a bit of acetone in here and I'm cleaning the brush with it, and it may be that this is a way of saving your brushes every time, because that brush isn't looking too bad now, so maybe, just maybe, that's the way to go forward and clean it off with some acetone, and then your brush is going to be good to have another go at this. I don't think it'd be any good for painting or anything else, but at least you can reuse it if you could do a bit more of a repair. I've got this other brush dripping here, and for no other reason than I want to see when it goes off and it's hard, and when I think I can put another layer on without having to touch the actual box. That's all I'm doing it for. Anyway, we're going to move on to the bracket now and get that rubbed down. Right, we're about an hour later now. I've just rubbed this one down a little bit so you can see that's just going to be rubbed down a bit more. We'll apply some rust preventer. There's some rust preventer I bought before. I'll put a link in it in the video down below, so if you want to use some of that, you can. So there'll be a link for the rust remover or rust preventer, a link for these ABS panels, and of course a link for the acetone as well. This is what we've used so far. So I said about the brush, and you can see that's an hour later and the brush is going to be perfectly fine to use, so I'm quite pleased with that. And here, you can see how that drip has gone quite hard. So we're going to go and have a look at the box now and see what that's looking like. So here we are. So I'm going to brave it now and touch it, and that is dry to the touch. That is really dry to the touch. So we're going to build up another couple more layers, and I'm really hoping, I don't know how many layers I'm going to build up, maybe 3-4 layers. The more I do, the stronger it's going to be, isn't it? So we'll do all that, and hopefully we'll have a good fix. Right, so here we are again. I've noticed that the slurry is getting a little bit thicker. I did say there were some bits in it, and I think agitating it again has made it all mix a little bit more. So you can see it's getting a little bit thicker. I don't think that's an issue. I'm going to paint it into where the cracks were. So we're building up our layers, and hopefully that's building up the strength as well. It's not really going to be visible from the outside, is it? So might have been a mistake actually using a Sharpie to mark it for you all to see. We'll try and cover that as well. So I think we'll probably leave this. This is quite a heavy, thick layer now I'm doing. We'll do one more before the end of the day, and then we'll leave it overnight before we do anything more. You can see there I'm putting on quite thick layers now. And it is like putting on a very thick gloss paint now, I suppose. Hopefully it's all gonna nice and hard. Well, I can't see any reason why it won't go hard, because once the acetone is evaporated out of it, it should be as strong as the plastic is. You know, and this was I paid £120 for this, like I said. The ABS slurries, it's probably cost me about £20. When you're doing this as well, do it in a well ventilated place, because it does give off quite a lot of fumes. You see, my painting skills are legendary, absolutely appalling. Really lay it on quite heavy. You can see the consistency of it now. It really is, like I said, like a thick gloss paint. I'm hoping it will just settle in and dry like a gloss paint as well. Let's do this magic. Make sure it's everywhere. And this is only a little bracket inside that box, so it's not deadly important, but I think we'll probably use it to wrap something around, cables or something. I'm not really ain't sure what we're going to use it for yet, but at the same time, while we've got it all apart, it's just as well to get it done. Make sure we've got coverage everywhere. And you can see it sort of takes on a black colour now, a wetty black colour. I presume, now I don't really know, maybe one of you can tell me down below. I think what it does is it reacts with the rust, neutralising it, and forms a hard shell. That's nicely coated. We're going to let that dry. I'm going to go for a cup of coffee. Well, in the time I've gone in and had a cup of coffee and come back out, the ABS is actually dry to touch again. So I think I'm going to put another layer on now. So we may get 4 layers on, 5 layers even today. So it's going to be really quite thick. And then I think that'll be enough then. See in there now, it's getting very, very gloopy in there now. So I think we will add a bit more acetone in, just to make it a little bit more of a looser mixture. I've got the feeling that this is going to set hard in here after we finish, so it's probably, once we've finished, it's not going to be much use at all. So you could probably get away with using a lot less ABS for what we had to do, but this, like I said, was a learning process for me. I think you could probably get away with cutting just one of them up and using that and seeing how far you go. So for future, that's what I will do. But just for this, we'll just do it. I'll just mix some more in, and you can see you got some lumps in there, but there's a lot of good soft liquid in there as well. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to put another layer on. I'm just going to take this brush is absolutely solid now. But the other one, as you can see, oh, mind you, that is going hard, so that's soft, so we'll keep that one in. Put them in the acetone. We're soft enough to paint on, so that's what we're going to do next. So we're just going to paint another layer on, lots and lots of layers, and this is hopefully going to be really, really strong. Okay, so I've just put a 5th coat on, and what I've done on the 4th and 5th coats, I've gone over a larger area on everywhere where it mounts as well, not where the damage was now, where the mounts will be. Hopefully that will reinforce it. And there was a little split up here as well, wasn't there? So I've given it a few coats now around there as well, just to reinforce it. Well, good morning, and we're back. It's day 3 and everything now should have gone off. The bracket is all nicely dry and painted, so that can be reinstalled. The slurry, the ABS slurry, is really rock hard. So that's hopefully a good fix. I mean, looking inside, you know, you tell me what you think, but I've done nothing apart from paint that on. And that's on the inside of it, in it, so it's not going to show up. But that looks a really good fix, I think. I'm quite pleased with that. What we're going to do next is we're going to put the foam back around, so we got a seal against here. We're going to install a bit of membrane, some foam adhesive membrane on the bottom, just to give the items I put in there a little bit of dampening, I suppose, so they're not bouncing around when they're in there. And we'll just put it all back together. So all in all, I'm quite pleased. Just one other thing I thought I'd show you, the slurry in the jar is now going quite solid, so it's not something I think we can keep. We're looking at, well, I think if we added some more acetone in there, it'd probably be all right. I think what happens is the acetone does actually evaporate out of the jar, because it's not, although it's a screw top jar, it doesn't seal it perfectly, does it? And the brushes, they're nice and soft, so we save them. And that's the original brush there. That is absolutely rock solid. So that gives you an idea what your slurry is like. You know, that is absolutely rock solid now. Okay, and so we've finished. We've put it all back together, and there it is. Now, you can see the repairs. You know, I'm not going to lie, you can see the repairs. However, yeah, that is on the inside. It was all looking a lot nice and tidy. Now, you saw the picture of it when I first started it, and I'll show you another picture again now, just to remind you. But that's looking really good. I'm really pleased with that. The fix is really strong. And what I'll do is, if I come round, this is where the crack is, but that is absolutely solid now. And if you wanted to, you could just wash a little bit of ABS slurry on the outside as well, just to fill that crack if you really felt that was needed. You can see the crack there as well. You can see where the ABS has come through in the crack a little tiny bit. But that's not going anywhere. You know, I'm pushing that with all my might, and that's not going anywhere, whereas before it was moving. So I'm really pleased with that. And those hose, there's the hose that were filled. You know, it's not the prettiest. You know, you could build it up from the outside, rub it down, if you were doing a much prettier job. Now, this is going to be against the bike rack, so I'm not too worried. So there you are. Let's just open that up again carefully, because it's obviously not bolted down. I'm really pleased with that, and that's a really cheap, easy fix. And that would fix any ABS box, any ABS type article really that needs strengthening, needs a crack repairing. So if it's been helpful to you, please give the video a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel, and we'll go along and do more bits and pieces along the way, and hopefully help each other out. If you got a tip, let me know about it, and I'll share it with the world. See you later, guys. Bye.